Okay, this one is going to get a wee bit ranty, and it might also not be something you enjoy watching because it's something that a lot of people disagree with me on. And I only see the world this way as a result of having read a couple really specific books when I was in college. So that sounded super pretentious. But anyway, um, there's a book called Think and Grow Rich. It's really about the mindset of living in a way that wealth is not a problem. Uh, Written by a guy who just interviewed a bunch of like the billionaire magnates, like business titans in the early 20th century, I think. And it's, uh, I don't know, in it, I suppose you just learn that the way you think about money and time is what will dictate how you spend both of those things over the course of your life. And so it turns out that opinions about money and time are both very touchy and personal for a lot of people. So try not to speak out a ton on these sort of things, because you know there's a certain level of making people or encouraging people to reflect and choose how they spend their time that is helpful, and then there's a certain amount of that that's just like pissing people off. So I really don't want to make people angry, but I do want to encourage people that I care about to think about how they spend their time and their money. Something that comes up a lot, and the reason that I put this on my list of things that I wanted to talk about in a video, is opportunity cost. I have a lot of friends who are my age who just graduated from college. I suppose we could all say that, but you know, we're all in this circumstance where we're in this time of life that we're figuring things out. We're prone to things like underemployment, having a job that we're overqualified for, and you know, other boring things like that. But we also have to pay student loans, and so a lot of us don't feel like we have options other than doing a thing to just spin the wheel and make money in the short term. The trouble with that is that there is a huge opportunity cost for spending 90% of your productive waking hours this early in your life, when you should be building, or rather when you have an opportunity to. I mean, you shouldn't. There's no right or wrong here. You know, there's no should. But if you're not working a 40-hour-a-week job, you have the opportunity to be building connections and doing things in a more creative and more scary, but more potentially rewarding way. And so when I see friends who, and I don't want this to be taken wrong, so when I see friends who want to have a stable job, who have a stable job and are getting paid well, that I'm really excited about, and that has happened in many, many cases, and that I'm stoked about. But then there are a lot of friends who have goals like mine, and so I relate to them a lot, and I care about them, and I tend to be more mean to them, which I don't like, but I think it's just because they remind me of myself. And in those cases, when people are like, you know, I want to be really well known, or I want to make important work, or I want to travel the world, or I want to do big things and help a lot of people, and then they sign up for a 40-hour-a-week job where they're an intern somewhere, they prevent themselves from carrying out those dreams. And I understand that there are, you know, like things that are realistic to keep people from making certain moves or feeling like they even can make certain moves. But the fact of the matter is that if you want to have a stable job and do a stable job thing, you can do that, and you can do it really well. But if you want this one set of things, and then you go and do another set of things, they're, in some cases, going to prohibit you from doing the things you want. And so it frustrates me when I see people speak openly about wanting one thing and then living a life that dictates they're living a whole nother way. And, you know, maybe some people just like talking that way, and it doesn't actually make them miserable. But I know if I was in that situation, I would be very frustrated not knowing how to get out of a situation where I had to do something that cost me the majority of my productive hours, but wasn't leading where I wanted it to lead. In fact, I'm anxious about that all the time. Even in the situation I'm in, where I feel like I do have that freedom, I'm still anxious about, you know, am I spending my time in the best way possible? What is the opportunity cost of this thing I'm saying yes to? How can I say no to more things? And what is the least giving away my time I can do to balance sort of building the future I want to live in, but then also, you know, accounting for the present and for the things that I need to make sure I pay attention to now rather than later. So I know that's a little general, and it's perhaps not as specific as I could be, but I hope it's also, I don't know, makes you stop and think. I think just the concept of opportunity cost in general is something that very few of us learn early in life. And the moment I came across this distinction, like, oh, the things I'm saying yes to are keeping me from doing the things I really want to do, that's something I learned the hard way in college. I would just say yes to everything, and I was always into every project, and I buried myself over and over again. And I've gotten a little better, but not as good as I want to be, at saying no to things, especially things that I don't think will have interesting long-term applications. So I try every day to get better at saying no to the things that are tempting in the short term and don't lead where I need to go. Because they will, even if they seem fun now, will keep me from going where I need to go. And that, to me, the long-term outcome is more important to me than the short-term, like, interest in a project or something like that. So yeah, I hope that's helpful, just knowing how I think about it. And on to the next video, I guess. I'll see you in the next one.